Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're gonna make an update on the Hoya plants that I have, and mind you, I might call them orchids sometime in this video because I'm just too used to saying orchids. So if that happens, sorry, just try to ignore it. I'm telling you from the beginning. Okay, so some of you have asked me to make an update on all of my Hoyas, show you how they're doing. I have quite the collection of Hoyas as well, thanks to mainly you guys, my viewers. I started off with 2 Hoyas and now I have, I don't know, 6 or 7. Alrighty, so let's get to the update. I'm gonna start from this table right here. Okay, so before we start, if you don't understand the name of these plants that I'm gonna try to pronounce, you have them written in the description down below so you can check it out and Google them and learn more about them. So let's start with this one. This is the beautiful Hoya australis. I received 2 cuttings, I think in the autumn or summer. No, I think it was autumn last year. And both of the cuttings have caught, as you can see, and they are growing. It's pretty easy to see why I call this one beautiful. It's not even 9, it's 8:30 in the morning. Please, go to sleep. This one does not need to be in bloom for me to absolutely love it. Just look at that pattern on the leaves. The leaves absolutely look like a painting, a watercolor painting in my eyes. The transition between the colors is absolutely phenomenal. Now with this one, when the leaves just start to grow, they are very, very red. As they mature, they start to get some pinky shades, and then eventually they will develop these beautiful shades of green. This is an awesome, awesome plant if you really are looking for something that will look pretty by its foliage. It will take a while until this one blooms. It needs to be larger than this, but so far I absolutely need to find a better place in my greenhouse for this one to better display it, because it's such a shame. That foliage is one of the most beautiful patterns that I have encountered even in the orchid world. Now this particular one is a variety that I'm missing the name right now, but you can find it in the description below. There is an australis which does not have this beautiful pattern on the leaves, but the flowers are also fragrant, so yet another thing to look forward to. But until then, I'm just absolutely happy with the foliage. This one is growing actually in an orchid mix, the one that is absolutely not suited for orchids. It has peat moss and bark chips. I added perlite to the mix, and my Hoyas and everything that I potted in this mix actually is doing really, really well. Problem is I cannot find it anymore, but this type of mix is indeed suited for Hoyas because it is fluffy, it is airy, but it's not as airy as pure bark chips. So if you have it at hand and you have some Hoyas, I think it will definitely work. Alrighty, another beautiful Hoya is the Hoya Bella. Now this type of Hoya is not a climber. The previous one, the australis, is a climber, so if you try to train it on a trellis or something else, on a fence or something, it will climb. This one, no. This has a pendant pattern, and as you can see, mine has gotten super large. I initially received 3 cuttings, or actually, no, not 3, let me check. No, I received actually 2 cuttings, and everything you see sprouted from those 2 cuttings. The cuttings were like this, I think. They weren't big. I received this one last year, and it grew so incredibly fast. It branched out. It is already a pretty big bush. This one again is potted in that orchid mix, and it absolutely loves it. All I need to do is make sure I fertilize it, because that mix has absolutely no fertilizer added at all. There are some mixes with fertilizers, but I don't really trust them. I would just go for a plain mix and then add fertilizer. And P.S. all of my Hoyas receive orchid fertilizer, and so far so good. So this one has always tried to bloom for me, but it never matured any peduncles. It started to bloom in the autumn and winter, maybe that's why I didn't like it, but right now it is producing quite a few. Every branch has a peduncle actually, so let's hope this time it will manage to bloom, because it's supposed to be such a great show. Now I'm missing right now if this orchid, there you go, I did it. If this Hoya is fragrant or not. It might be, it might not be. Anyway, you can research it if you like it. I find it to be one of the easiest Hoyas that I'm growing. Actually, all of them are pretty easy, with the exception of one, which I will get to. The good thing is this one gets really bushy really fast. So if you're looking for something that will grow pretty fast and you don't want a climber like most Hoyas are, this is a really good option. Mind you, it does require some space. As you can see, it gets pretty bushy. And here is another peduncle. The flowers, as far as I remember, are white, but we'll just have to see this year. Out of all of my Hoyas, only 2 bloomed for me until now, and this was not one of them. However, yet again, foliage-wise and appearance-wise, I really like this Hoya. and I can imagine that in another year's time it will get even bushier. So again, I need to find a good display for this one. If I can find a place to keep it hanging, it would be great. Okay, now these are some Hoyas that I forgot to put some tags on, but I'll write the name on the screen. I am missing the names of the Hoyas. I'm not so adjusted to them, so I don't have them printed in my mind, but you'll find the name on the screen. This Hoya, along with 2 others, I received last year from my viewer Habib, who actually sent me a lot of Hoyas and a lot of orchids. Initially, these ones were planted in pine needles, if I'm not mistaken. They rooted there, but they really didn't like that mix. The roots didn't develop all that well in that mix, and also the Hoyas themselves, they didn't grow much. In the meantime, I potted them in a mix that I'm not really impressed with. It's that compo guano mix, but it's the best one I can find around. As I was saying, I cannot find the orchid mix anymore. I added a whole bunch of perlite to make it airy, and it is airy. It drains really well. It doesn't retain all that much water. Ooh, and it's almost completely dry. It's not holding a lot of water for the Hoyas. But honestly, if I were to choose, I would definitely go for the, let's call it terrestrial orchid mix rather than this mix. Anyway, so this one has started to grow, as you can see. This is a beautiful, tiny, kind of miniature leafed looking Hoya. But this is a climber. As you can see, I need to find a way to make her climb on something. You'll see 3 of my Hoyas are climbing on the IKEA stand. I'm not happy about that, so their location will probably get changed, but they do like to climb on stuff. You can see the tip is arching and is looking for something to hold on to. So most probably I will build a little trellis for this one. It's really easy to build a trellis if you don't find it in garden shops somehow, and I have a video about it. You can check it down below. So pretty soon I will need to build a little trellis for this one. It is beautiful. It has absolutely gorgeous, very waxy, very thick leaves, and it's not such a big plant, at least for now. Alrighty, another Hoya from Habib. This was in the same package as the other one. Again, I'm missing the name. You'll have it on the screen. It's this beautiful tear-shaped leaved Hoya. Absolutely fantastic. Now, this was a cutting that already has peduncles. It is kind of tiny, so I'm not sure if it's gonna bloom, but this one really has started to take off. It produced these 2 leaves right here, and it has a growing tip. And also in the back, you can see it has another branch starting here and another one here. It's doing fantastically well. If I'm not mistaken, this one is supposed to be very fragrant as well. But again, it is a climber. So with this one, it's pretty tricky to make a trellis for this pot because this is a big and heavy Hoya. But initially, probably I will. I'm not entirely sure. And then we'll see how it goes. I might repot it. If I find that orchid mix, I'm just gonna repot all of these again because I'm more happy with that mix. It drains so well. It dries much faster than this one. But so far, so good. They have really started to take off ever since I repotted them. And another one from the same package as the other 2. This is yet again a very petite leaved Hoya. Now this one didn't take off like the other 2, but I do see tips. These are new leaves. I do see some tips here and there. Actually, let's call them branches. She is starting to grow right now, but as long as she was in those pine needles, she really hated it, didn't do anything. Moreover, the leaves started to shrivel a little bit, so she was showing me signs of dehydration. Ever since she was repotted though, things are a lot better. Oh, this is new. See, we have a brand new branch right here. So she's doing really fine. This one is a climber yet again, but it is so tiny that I can definitely make a trellis for her. I'll see what I can do. It kind of looks very well in this pendant matter right now as well, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna get long, so maybe a trellis is the way to go with this one. Alrighty, and for the last 3, I need to unmount the camera from the tripod because these are very large Hoyas. So this is one of my oldest Hoyas. I had it for about 4 years when I purchased it. It was like this. I'm not even kidding. It was such a tiny cutting. And now, look at her. All the way down there, actually, where she's kind of bushy, but she doesn't have a lot of light. Most light she receives here. Now with this one, we managed to break one of the branches and we placed it back in the pot, and it actually took off like nothing ever happened. And this is the first time it actually blooms for me, and the flowers, they're not long lasting. They're already starting to fade a little bit, as you can see, and I'm sorry I didn't catch it. I did catch some better footage at the end of my videos, but she has other peduncles. This one is fragrant. Oh, by the way, this is the Neo Caledonica. She has yellow creamy flowers. It is kind of fragrant and it's kind of minty. It smells in the daytime. I didn't sense anything in the nighttime, but as you can see, she is a big baby. And not only the vine is big, but the leaves are big as well. Now she loves it on the IKEA stand. Problem is she kind of interferes with the orchids. It produced tiny little leaves in the beginning, so I didn't think it would grow so large, but there we go. She's becoming quite the lettuce. And I want to change her location. I want to improvise something on my shelves, on the edge of my shelves actually, so the Hoyas can frame the shelves with my orchids nicely. I don't know, I have some ideas, we'll see what we'll do. But the thing is, they will need to be unmounted from this IKEA stand. Now, unmounting is not a difficult thing to do because these orchids, I did it again. These Hoyas actually did not attach with roots or anything. They do have epiphytic growth in the sense that roots can definitely attach to stuff, but there isn't enough humidity to do that right here. These Hoyas do not receive water on the IKEA stand, only in the pot, so roots did not develop. So it's not going to be a hassle to unmount them from this IKEA stand. Alrighty, next to it we have another Hoya. This is the Pubicalix red buttons. Yet again, a very big Hoya. It's starting somewhere down there and it's growing up and up. This one actually bloomed for me last year. It's a really nice gray and red color. I'll add the video about it in the description. She has some peduncles starting right now. These are the older ones, not sure what's going to happen, but yet again, quite big foliage. When I had it, it didn't produce this big foliage, but now with the addition of light and probably fertilizer, she is growing quite big. And yet again, she's interfering with my orchids on the stand. Was not expecting it, but I'm glad I tried it. It looks pretty, I have to say, but it's just hard to work with. So I'll try to find a way to place them on the edge of my shelves, and hopefully they're gonna look like a frame for my orchids. Now this one is a little fragrant, but it kind of smells like wood in my opinion. It's not a beautiful fragrance, but it's interesting. It reminds me of something of my childhood. It's hard to describe how it is, but it's a woody fragrance. If you're not bothered by the lack of fragrance or the woody fragrance, this is a gorgeous Hoya, absolutely fantastic. Do check the video below. It's one of my most beautiful Hoyas. Mind you, I only saw 2 in bloom, but between the Neo Caledonica and the Pubicalix, I prefer the Pubicalix. Now both of these are potted in a fluffy medium that yet again I cannot find anymore, and they're doing great. However, in the same medium I potted the calycina, and that one is not doing great. So this is the calycina. Yet again, I received it from Habib. I am a bit gutted about this one because she's not doing great. So she was doing okay all summer long, growing like crazy, and then out of the blue something happened. The leaves started to fall, you can see at the base there, and the actual vine stopped growing. It stopped right there, somewhere in the back. You can see it right there. It started to grow again at some point, and then it stopped once again, and the leaves look dehydrated, so I am suspecting some root issues. So at some point I will unmount this Hoya from the IKEA stand and take a look at the root system. If they're in poor condition, I'll see what I decide. Maybe I will just cut the vine once again, put some hormone powder and pot it once again. Anyway, the situation is not necessarily super bad with this one because as you can see, you see these little dots? This is where roots will come from. If they find moisture, they will develop. And nodes like these are present all the way down, so I'm not worried. I can save this one, but I kinda am a little gutted because this one is supposed to be one of the most fragrant Hoyas you can find out there, the calycina. So if you want me to film a video in which I unpot this one, just let me know down below and we'll make it. We'll see what we find and hopefully we can reestablish this one really fast. And these were all of the Hoyas that I have. They are absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite plants along with orchids. Of course, orchids will always be first, but I think if I wouldn't collect orchids, I would definitely be collecting Hoyas. I would try to make my grow space suited for Hoyas. Right now it's not. I need to find some better displays for them, but that's for future projects that I'm looking forward to. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching this video and suggesting this update. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for daily orchids and plants videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye! So as promised, the Hoya, let's see. It's the weirdest thing ever. So I cut away. This is the newest growth. So I cannot really tell. I don't think this one had fusarium. With the older ones, I cannot really tell. Everything is really black and mushy. These are all gone, so I cannot tell. Look at this pattern. Now, a virus really weakens the plant, so it becomes more susceptible to stuff like fusarium. I honestly don't believe fusarium killed it. I think it was a combination, starting with the virus. This is absolutely virus in my eyes.